Bring me Michael Olise.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Yes, hello, what's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel, Football Therapy, with me, your host, Jan. Hope you're doing well. Genuinely, wholeheartedly do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News. Here I am, like I am every day, often twice a day. So let's get into it. I'm going to be speaking about the plan at Chelsea. Everyone's arguing, right? Everyone argues all the time in football fandom, not least Chelsea. What's going on with Chelsea buying all these young players? Why are we spending money on these kids that no one's heard of? What's the plan here? Is it just, buying stock to sell in the future? What's happening to our club? Is it intelligent? Is it smart? Well, Twomey and Johnson have written about this. Wrote, pick whichever sounds best about this on The Athletic. We're going to dive into that article, see what their man are saying, fam. And also, Romano has given us updates on Michael Olise on his playback stream yesterday. I'm going to read a few quotes aggregated by Twitter account CFCPYS or PICE, however one says it. Grateful for these Twitter accounts that bring stuff together. I do think they're useful, So yes, thank you for joining me, guys. If you do want to support the content, it's super easy. You do this. You like the video just to tell me you love me, and that's very important. If you do choose to subscribe, hit the bell. We genuinely are on the road to 200,000 subscribers, which is just lovely stuff, innit? I should say now, if you see me wince in this video, I've done my neck in. I've got like a trapped nerve in my neck and back, and it really hurts, right? And I did it just sleeping, I'm one of those people in life that get these injuries from doing nothing. Like, I broke my metatarsal, not by playing football, by walking up a curb, and you heard it audibly snap loudly. It was disgusting. Let's get into it. Right, so we are going to end on Olise. Let's start off with this article from The Athletic Boys. Of course, huge talking point. Chelsea, of course, signed from South America's Andre Santos, who may well be in the first team in the next campaign. Obviously, the two high-profile acquisitions of late are Kendry Paez and Esteban Willian. Very exciting. One Brazilian, one Ecuadorian. So, the boys write this: when Chelsea reached an agreement to sign 17-year-old winger Esteban Willian from Palmeiras, it was significant for a couple of reasons. First, the fee, £28.7 million up front, potentially rising to £48.1 million, with performance-based incentives, took Chelsea's guaranteed transfer fee commitments on teenagers alone under the new ownership to above £150 million. Second is that it provided the clearest signal yet of where Chelsea's recruitment strategy is heading. Not back towards the established international signings that powered much of the success under Roman Abramovich, but doubling down on an aggressive, coordinated attempt to assemble the best young talent. Can I just say as well, it's interesting that they're reporting on this now. I don't know if many of you guys watch non-Chelsea stuff, but Jim Ratcliffe, I haven't actually watched his interview with Bloomberg, but I know he's done an interview with them speaking about Man United. Essentially saying this as well, it's not about trying to buy Mbappe, it's not about trying to buy Galacticos. Real Madrid could buy Galacticos, it works. But he cites the fact how Man United have spent since Alex Ferguson. Jesus, Jan, just... I was thinking of so many different manager names. Sir Alex Ferguson left Manchester United. They've spent £1.1 billion net spend or something, which is wild. And they've got no £100 million players to show for it. Whereas, Real Madrid they've spent a lot less. They've spent 200 million net spend or something like that. Maybe, I can't remember. He said certainly a lot less. And not only have they got loads of over £100 million players to show for it, they've also built a new Bernabeu and stuff. So he's basically saying, we're not going to buy these superstars anymore. We're going to rebuild the club from the ground up. Essentially, what Chelsea are doing, it does seem like where the wind is blowing. It's likely that the level of investment in Esteval will remain something of an outlier. Chelsea regard him as a better prospect than his former teammate Endrick, who they courted extensively, of course. We spoke about it here on the channel, before his decision to sign Real Madrid in December 2022, when he officially moves to Stamford Bridge after his 18th birthday, Esteval William, basically. Yeah, so he will cost potentially less than Endrick, but Chelsea think he's better than Endrick. Endrick, of course, though, is a centre forward. He's weird, though, Endrick. Like, I didn't think you'd target Endrick necessarily as a defo Premier League striker, because you could say he's got that Sergio Aguero build, and Aguero, like, absolutely ate the Premier League for breakfast, so maybe in that sense he would have been great. Look, Endrick's going to be awesome, don't worry about it. But it's increasingly evident that Chelsea want to position themselves to recruit every teenage footballer they identify as having elite potential. Clearlake and Bowley are spending 6 times more than the previous owner on youth recruitment and intend to scale it up. Wow. That is wild. We know from when they came in to buy Chelsea, one thing that was regurgitated over and over and over was that they believe young global talent is really undervalued, and they want to optimize that. The money is not solely going into transfer fees on promising teenagers, of course. Chelsea are continuing to build their global scouting and data analytics teams beyond the headline hire of Sam Jewell, of course, from Brighton. And he's a director of global recruitment in May. He's become that, seeking to complement modern digital methods of performance analysis at Cobham with more high-level scouts and recruiters at the ground. They basically just want to make Chelsea this like huge mechanical system of finding talent and like optimize, and being those guys. Like, because when they came into Chelsea, Bowley said this, like they were sort of shocked at the lack of data and systemic way of running that Chelsea was. It was very much a vibes club, and they were just thinking, how there's so much more that could be done. And actually, that's a reason to buy something. If a club is being sold for X amount by Rain Group after it's seized by Abramovich, and it's like, look at Chelsea, it makes all this money, they're a big machine and stuff. But then you find actually there's all this stuff they're not doing. You can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it like, wow, this is a shit show that, excuse my language, that needs to be sorted out. Or you can be like, wow, this is such a great opportunity, because Chelsea's already this big brand, but we can be so much better by actually doing this stuff that's not been done so far, which is interesting. As highlighted by the signings, of course, of Andre Santos, Angelo Gabriel, Davide Washington, Kendry Pires, and of course Esteval as well. South America is a key part of focus. Chelsea are far from the first club to hone in on this hotbed of talent, of course. They are dedicating significant resources to building a comprehensive scouting and recruitment network there, led locally by individuals who can use their contacts with agents, academy staff, and club owners. Trying to get the most out of that. Yeah, man, look, I'm not going to read all this article because there's a lot here, but it really does hammer home the situation with Chelsea's plan for the satellite clubs, of course, as well, with Strasbourg. Santos had a really good 6 months there. They'll be looking to make Strasbourg more successful, a better club, but also a better destination to send their players, and of course get more clubs. They wanted a Ligue 1 club. They got a good Ligue 1 club in Strasbourg. They wanted a Portuguese club, which they'll almost certainly get, which is great as well, because if they bring in Brazilian players from South America from scouting, they can just send them to the Portuguese club as a high level of football, like maybe the 6th best league in Europe or something, and obviously Portuguese speaking. I don't understand. Personally, I don't know how different Brazilian and Portuguese is, but presumably they'd be able to speak it pretty comfortably. And they want a Brazilian club and like some others as well. So basically, there will be plenty of opportunities to funnel all this talent through. Of course, it is a big talking point about Chelsea's academy, Cobham. There is Like, I'm going to read something here. Like, Joshua Chimpong, of course, the right back at Chelsea, the academy player that Chelsea rate highly. This whole Pedro Lima thing of him choosing between, Wolverhampton Wanderers and Strasbourg. So he'll sign for Blueco, not for Chelsea. Chelsea this summer is because Joshua Chimpong, who has made it to the Premier League debut against Tottenham Hotspur, he is viewed internally as being in front of him. So Chelsea are still looking at the academy players. They're not like ruling them out, because a lot of people are like understandably a little bit concerned about these academy players being blocked. But it isn't just this like perverse interest in exotic young players. Perverse isn't maybe the right word there. This peculiar interest of these young players from around the globe. If the good young players are at home and you've got them, they're not going to pass up on those assets and just get rid of them. Maybe, of course, there's that idea of they represent pure profit, so maybe they'll be inclined to sell them. But there is this overarching thing which we mustn't forget with this new ownership, and that is they do want Chelsea to be a winning team. They understand that this whole network, this plan of expansion and optimization, it is all dependent on the mothership, HQ Chelsea, being a really good institution, this really powerful brand, this winning machine. And if Chelsea just fall into mid-table obscurity, that will damage the whole project and plan. That's why they spend hundreds of millions of pounds on midfielders. And they want Chelsea to be just a consistently top 4 team that challenges for Premier League titles, so all this stuff can be propped up by that. So yeah, if you've got a player in the academy that will make Chelsea better genuinely, then they will utilise them. Levi Colwill, academy centre-back that would have brought in a lot of money by Liverpool or Bayern Munich. They'll be willing to pay a lot of money for him. Again, that would be pure profit. Chelsea are like, no. Even if Levi's unsure and there's stories of him entertaining the idea of listening to Bayern Munich, Chelsea are like, no, you're on a long-term deal. You're good. We want you at Chelsea because you're good. So there is that. And, this story with Joshua Chimpong as well is great, because they're like, if you're good players and, you fit the system, you're going to be Chelsea players. So I understand why people are showing concerns for the Chelsea Academy players, and perhaps it's not as Cobham-centric as it was under Frank Lampard when we had a transfer ban. But let's give it some time let's reserve judgment. Let's see some academy players. I'm sure they'll come through and thrive, and let's just wait and see what happens. It's still a bit turbulent for Chelsea fans, and we're unsure what to think. So let's keep our powder dry on that one. All right, let's speak about Michael Olise. So Fabrizio Romano went on the streaming platform Playback last night and spoke about Operation Olise. It's called Operation Olise with a lot of people, but I genuinely think it's probably called Operation Olise somewhere in a Cobham Chelsea office up on a whiteboard, because they do name stuff like that, which is funny. Lame, but funny. So, last night, Romano said this. It's a major update. Palace have presented a new deal to Olise. They are fighting to keep him, but Chelsea are confident on the Olise deal. This is big, actually. They have entered direct talks with Olise. Of course, they've been given permission by Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace have been grown-ups about this. There weren't so much last summer. Chelsea are obsessed with signing Olise. Yes, we tried to sign him last summer. He signed a new deal last summer, which had improved terms and kept him and sort of protect him as an asset value. But then they're willing to give him yet again a new deal on improved terms. Now, this doesn't surprise me considering the season he had last campaign. Obviously, he was out injured, but the minutes he played, he was incredible. And we've looked at his stats before. We might look at them once more if we get the here we go. But he was incredible. He's incredible. He looks like he's got no issues scoring against anyone in the Premier League, and like truly expressing himself and playing really, really well. So that it's just, yeah, no wonder they've put his they want to put on a new deal, especially now Oliver Glasner's there. Remember, it's not wibbly wobbly boy anymore. It's Glasner. He's cooking in the front three of Eze and Mateta. They probably think, right, sign this new deal, stay one more season, and then we're going to sell you for £100 million, mate. That's probably what they're thinking. And Chelsea are probably thinking, don't listen to that. Come over to us now, join the project, join the fun. You're young, you just come off a good season. Strike while the iron's hot, capitalise, make that move, and let's do it together. Let's go and link up with Cole Palmer and have a good time. Yes, the more stuff we're hearing about is, of course, Cole Palmer's going to play more on the inside, so it will be a case of Noni Madueke and Olise being the right wing options. You'd have to say Olise would be the first choice, and Noni would get cups and conference and sub appearances. But of course, Noni backs himself to be that guy. What if Noni just gets better and better and better? Anything can happen. So that's pretty wild with that. So Chelsea have been holding positive conversations with Michael Olise, says Romano. He says, despite offering a new contract to Olise, Crystal Palace believe Chelsea are the favourites. Dun, dun, dun. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear. So Olise has to make a decision. It's up to him. He's had conversations with Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Newcastle. Also, the new contract at Palace has more money and a new release. Of course, it's got a new release clause. I reckon it's going to be more than 60 million quid. Because he's in the world where Anthony goes for 100 million, who's maybe a third of the player of Olise. It's just where we're at. No one wants to get mugged off. Everyone wants to make as much money as possible. The quotes go on here. Chelsea would be very ready to go to Palace, put the money down on the table. I added the table. Put the money down for Olise. They see signing him with his obsession. I think Chelsea will have an answer for Olise in the next days, maybe next week. Ooh. He goes on to say Chelsea want Olise badly. The player feels that obsession. Chelsea believe he would be perfect to play with Mudryk. Interesting. With Palmer and others, Chelsea have made a strong financial offer to Olise. It's interesting, isn't it? Because, you got Man United fans really, really want him, understandably, by the way, because now Ten Hag's staying, Jadon Sancho ain't coming back. And because Jadon Sancho ain't coming back, they don't want to just think about Anthony as their right wing option. So Olise just literally moonwalks into their starting lineup. I mean, he does to ours as well. He just to many people's. Of course, Man City are looking at him as well. Have made an inquiry. The thing is with Man City is, they've been playing Bernardo Silva on the right wing. I mean, look, on the left wing, it's Doku or Grealish. Doku, really, isn't it? Foden's a lot better on the inside, behind Haaland. Maybe you play De Bruyne a little bit deeper as well, next to Rodri. So you might have the most sickening midfield of Rodri, flanked by two offensive eights, or an offensive 8 in KDB, and then a 10 in Foden. And then you've got an opening on the right wing, maybe Bernardo Silva, because Bernardo Silva's been threatening to go to Barcelona for years, hasn't he? Maybe you just buy that right winger in Olise. I have a feeling Olise is not going to go to Man City. I don't know, because I feel like also as well, there's loads of stuff to consider. You think one more season with Guardiola. Maybe if 2 years ago you go to Man City, you win a treble, you win another league, but now Guardiola's there for one more season, almost certainly just one. There's all this stuff hanging over the club, like these allegations. It does feel like the times could be changing for Man City, like the party might be over, the music might stop, and you don't want to just arrive as a young player like, what? I just got here. But, everyone knows what Chelsea are, where they are, and where they're hopefully going. But yeah, Man United have gone a bit quiet on it, which is very, very interesting. And if it is, I don't think necessarily you want to go to Bayern Munich. I don't know. But if the favourites are Newcastle, stay at Palace, Chelsea. And I've got this sewn up. Come on, Olise. Come down to Chelsea, mate. You've been here before. Your little brother's here. We have a lovely time. Cole Palmer's here, and he plays football very well. You'd link up with him really nicely, with him in the 10 and you in the right wing. I'm here for it. I want it. I deserve it. But what do you think, guys? I put it out to you guys as always. Want to hear what you think? Like, subscribe, comment, as the widget says. Thank you for all the nice messages and the conversations down in the comment section as usual. Superb here on the channel, Football Therapy. What a community we've cultivated. You guys are the best Chelsea fans out there. Know that. Man, and hopefully see you back here soon. As soon as some news pops, I will react to it, of course. Alright, see you in a bit. Peace.